to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I'm Kay Williams, author of op-dec Operation Deceit, Blue Honor, for which the blog is named, a Civil War drama, and the Triloquia trilogy. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's been probably about a month. Most of my frequent content is found on TikTok. I do post long form here once a month. And this year I have been going back around to look at some of the older blogs that I've written on my website, authorkwilliams.com, and just kind of talk about them because it's been some time. I believe the one that I'm going over today is from 2016, and that's been quite a space of time, approximately almost 7 years probably for this one, depending on where it fell in the year. So this one was, how have my hobbies helped me to be a better writer? And you may or may not know that I have a few activities that I do as hobbies outside of the writing, outside of my regular work and being a parent, etc. Some of the videos that I make and blog posts that I do are Culinary K, which is the cooking thing, and that's just something that I've done my whole life. I rather enjoy cooking, making meals, baking, things like that. I don't know if I would call it a hobby. I cook to feed myself. I cook to enjoy something, to celebrate, and it's just a constant in my life, not something that I even dabble in, that I would say this is probably another area that I could go professional in. I'm very good at it, but it's not something that I've studied. You know, I'm not CIA good. I'm not, I went to school and I have a shop, and I've been doing this for years, every day, for hours on end, nonstop, and this is my life. Not amazing like those chefs out there are. With all of that practice, it just floors me, some of the stuff that they produce, and I love watching the shows. But things that I like to do. I know the blog entry back in 2016. You can look it up by Holly Hobby Writes, and I believe it was number 47 of the Open Book Blog Hop. And I talk about jewelry making and some other things that I picked up along the way. So jewelry making came to me because I got tired of going to the store and not finding anything that would match my outfits. I was very particular, a little bit of a fashionista and stuff through an era, and I needed things to coordinate better than they were, and I just wasn't finding things. And with the advent of Michaels and AC Moore, which is now defunct, and just bead shops and that whole thing, I was able to find all the findings and the pieces and stuff to put together necklaces, the little charms and the beads and stuff, and to create earrings and matching necklaces to coordinate with the clothing and stuff that I had. And how does that help me as a writer? Well, I say, it is something that helps me shut down, and just, I don't want to say shut down, but take a break from that and focus on something else that is also creative. It also helps me, de-stress in that capacity. It helps me be proud of myself when I'm presenting myself, that I have this stuff that I've put together and it looks real sharp with my outfit. So in that capacity, high self-esteem is still always good, especially when you're trying to be out there in the public. I would say that the most useful thing that I hobby at is my drawings and my photography. That is a portrait I did of my dog Max. He was a Jack Russell, and I lost him, 20, it was a while. He was 11. He was 11, and I got him in 2000. Yes, so 2011, approximately, I think. Yeah. I had only had Sadie for a short while with him, and then I had her for 8 years on top of that. So he probably lived for about 1.5 to 2 years longer than I had her. So I brought her in. He had another couple of years. Anyway, that's my boy. He was extremely photogenic. I loved taking pictures of him. I even did portraits of him as Brian from Family Guy. I had the red collar with the gold tag, and I specifically went out to get those to do portrait work with him as the character because he looked so much like him. But the drawings like this, and you may be familiar with my umbrella here. And then this, of course, is an older drawing that I've done to try and picture Mile and stuff. It's missing, you'll see the penannular here. So that is another skill that I have that's come along with the jewelry making. This is Sculpey, and it's a pin. So I made this, baked it, did the, what is that stuff called? the hard plastic, the resin. I painted the blue on there. I shaped it and everything, painted the blue on there, and then did the resin pool and stuff within this. So let me just pop this off of here, and you can kind of see it's very shiny, has a pin back. I am not happy with this, but nobody ever sees that. You know, that would be on, you may have seen some of the pictures that I've done cosplaying as Maya. So this is a piece to do the costuming as her. Not this outfit. It's the toga piece that she wears. So the drawings, they help me conceptualize some of the images, objects, people that, you know, populate something like this. It's a little bit harder to imagine and picture and kind of ground. And sometimes it also helps me, you know, keep that flame ignited. You get really excited about something. So then I have this opportunity because I've done the artwork. So that's her helmet. And you can see it a little bit here from the front end. So that's a side view, and that's the front end. It helps me conceptualize the character, you know, get it down on paper, get it more solid, consistent. You know, people will be critical of your writing if you don't have consistency. You can't, you know, describe the armor one way and then the next time you see it, it's different, unless that has something to do with what's going on in the story. You know, if she showed up in Astral, it wouldn't be surprising if something with her armor was off. So long as, you know, she wasn't just dreaming. If she was really there, then you know it should be what it is, because that's grounded. So it helps me with that. And because I do the graphics and the drawing, the art, I do paintings. There's one up there on my wall, sorry, right there on my wall, which is a painting of a gorge at midnight with a river. And I do paintings, I do pencil and photography, and taking those all combined, you know, I've learned Photoshop pretty extensively and applied that to creating posters, postcards, pictures for online social media. You'll see stuff on my website. A lot of that stuff I have put together. That is a priceless skill set to have as an author. Not everyone can do that. I did design Blue Honor's first cover. I took the photograph of the horse with his rider, and I designed my first cover. It wasn't a bad cover either. You'll hear me speak out pretty consistently that I don't believe authors should be creating their cover unless they have a very strong design skill set. You can ruin your sales with the wrong type of cover. You know, if you just cobble something together. I empathize deeply with you if you are struggling, you can't afford it, and you really just want to get this thing out. I totally get it. Simple is better in that case, where you just do lettering. Something. Keep it extremely simple. Don't try to cobble together on Photoshop some mismatched art. And by that I mean like something's done in this medium and something done in another medium. And the styles are clashing and the colors are clashing, but you know, you've just kind of slapped them together on the page. And that's from my book. I hope not. I hope that the scenes don't look like they were cut and pasted together by a small child. And I don't mean to be rude or anything, but the book is worth more than that. Please take the time. All right? If you don't have the skills, take the time to find somebody who does. It isn't as expensive as you think it is, and it will repay you in the long run to have spent that money on your cover. Scott does a fantastic job on my covers. I will brag about him to the end of days. I love him. And I actually send people to him. And I could end up losing him because he won't have any time for me anymore. He does beautiful work, and I have not one complaint. He has been able to take whatever I described to him, take it from my brain, and he is able to create it on the page. And it literally ends up looking exactly like what I've asked for. I don't know how he does that. Dude's psychic. I don't know. Something, right? But find somebody who can help you with covers. They're out there and they're struggling just as much as you as an artist, and they kind of need that support. You know, $100, if you can pinch together $100, can go a long way to getting you a cover that is far better than something that you can just kind of throw together yourself. And don't just stick with whoever you find, you know, and you know, stick to your guns. This is your work, and you're not going to put together something on it that does it a disservice. Anyway, so you see here this stuffed animal. Moving on. This is Zoe, and this is a stuffed animal that I got when I worked at the Gideon Putnam Hotel. I've written about that on my blog, and I've talked about that here on YouTube. She inspired me to do drawings, the Zoe Duck cartoons. So I do a series of artwork with her, and that helps me work on my skills as an artist. Like I said with the chefs, hours and hours and months, weeks, years, so much time poured into their work to get where they are. Like Scott, with his ability, he went to school for this. He learned how to do this. He has not only natural talent, but he has had somebody to help him figure out how to hone that talent. He's practiced it and practiced it and practiced it. He knows what he's getting wrong. When he looks at something, he knows what it's missing. Like, he would know with my drawings. Like, you're almost there. You forgot to do this one piece, and that would make the world of difference. And it's true. When you don't have formal classes, you don't necessarily know that. If you don't work with another artist, if you don't apprentice yourself, if you don't put yourself through all of these paces, you'll never understand what that piece is that you're missing that could just put your work way over the top. But that said, you practice and you research other things and how to do things. You watch other artists and how they do things, and you start picking things up and you keep working at it. And Zoe allows me to do that, and I work in different mediums with her. So I'll work pencil and paper with her, and I'll also do Photoshop and digital art. I actually got my drawing glove, which I was really excited about. So I did Ed Hopper's Diner, Nighthawks, this month. if you go to the blog, Blue Honor blog, and you look for the Zoduck, I did the Nighthawks thing with the Zoe characters. And I was able to stick them all in there. And I feel like I gave up a little bit when I was putting Bear in there. And like I just got weary at a certain point. But I wasn't quite sure, how am I going to mold his head on there? How am I going to get it to shape right? And I have switched from Photoshop to using GIMP. GIMP is affordable, you know. Photoshop has priced itself out of being affordable to any singular artist that isn't, you know, raking in a lot from their gallery showings. And that's not me. I'm just a regular person who works a regular job and has this other stuff that they do as well. And, you know, it would be great if the books could earn me enough in a year to afford Photoshop. But then that's all they would be affording me. They wouldn't be paying for much else than that. So you buy one of these, you're helping to just basically fund me to be able to produce more. So it pays for the editor, it pays for the cover designer, the proofreaders, the interior designer of the book, the Photoshop, all of my programs and stuff that I need to keep running. And when you buy one of these, it actually energizes me quite a bit. I love when people come to me and say, I want to get one of your books. This is what I was like. This is what I'm thinking of buying. Do you recommend that? I mean, they come to me and they ask me, they're like, I don't know where to start. Where do I start? And which one's which? And what do you do? And oh my God, this is so cool. And I'll tell them, you know, extensive. I'm like, well, what kind of books do you like? I write these 2 genres. And they'll tell me. A colleague of mine recently bought a copy of one of my books. She was like, I really love historical work. And I'm like, well, I got 2. One of them is Civil War drama. The other one is a World War II spy thriller. She's like, that one. So she bought op-dec. She absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And just the trajectory of my life with having Katie and everything has kind of meandered me away, but I have been working on the sequel, I promise. I've even cracked it open and looked at it recently. But I need to get it from, you know, a second draft to a 4th and 5th rewrite. So it takes a long time for me, just because life carries me on in other directions. I have to redo the script for this, and I'm thinking of going more towards a series, like television type series, streaming series. So it would be a pilot episode. So I've got to reimagine that and how to handle that initial material and stuff within this book, to make it interesting and to get people to dive into the series the rest of the way. Because how things start and how they keep going. And it's like, you know, one of those world building books, and it just, I'm like, how do I do that like this and get you hooked and, you know, rack the brain. So doing art and everything helps sustain me in the meantime, and keep me going and keep me thinking about it, and keeps that creativity going. So it's very effective in helping me, and helping me conceptualize things like you can't on a piece of paper with words. So it kind of helps me rewrite things maybe more concisely, which is important for an author. So hopefully that has explained like how my hobbies feed into my writing, and how I use that in my writer life, both to sustain myself, to sustain the writing, to work with the writing. Maybe someday there will be an art book out there. I do have Oliver Diggleby. I don't know if the artwork that I have drawn for that would continue forward with that piece, or how that's going to go. You never know. And Zoduck could become a whole series too. I've done storyboards with her. thinking of episodes and stuff, short cartoon vignettes. That would be a lot of fun to do with that. So as you see, it's like there's always something going on. It may not seem like I'm creating more novels and stuff, but I'm definitely on the blog writing and creating art constantly. And find me on TikTok, Captain Mael, and you can see literally like every day I post videos and stuff, so shorter content on there. So I will see you back here next time. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you.